Merlin Sports.
Hey everyone, this is Phenomena from Merlin Sports, and I'm joined by.
DDawg.
Hey, what's going on, man?
I'm here, man. Just getting ready, getting excited. Sports is ramping up again. Been a slow. I shouldn't say it's been a slow summer, but after the Euros and Copa America, has been a lot of exciting stuff going on in the summer. But now football season's coming up, and around the corner is hockey season, and then we'll filter into basketball season. So it's starting to get back up again, getting excited.
Yeah, the only one of the good things about the fall and the weather changing. At least you got every sport's going to be soon to be ramping up.
Yeah.
Which brings us to NFL just around the corner, and as always, lots of buzz heading into a new season. And this season being no different. It's, I guess, the narrative will be if Chiefs will three-peat, which is a very, very difficult thing to do in football. And so we're going to start previewing the upcoming 2024 season, and we're going to go division by division. And in this episode, we're going to start with the AFC East, which is a pretty interesting division. So we'll run down the teams in this division. As everyone knows, we have the Buffalo Bills, we have the Miami Dolphins, and New England Patriots, and of course the New York Jets. So how do you see this division shaping up? Give me the order of finish and how many wins each team is going to have. The win-loss record. Well,
yeah, this is an interesting division because there's a lot of variables in this division. But I'm gonna give you a little bit, maybe a bit of surprise. I'm gonna go with Miami to win the division, Buffalo to finish second, the Jets to finish third, and the Patriots to bring up the rear. So you want the records? I'm gonna say Miami will go 12-5. Buffalo 11-6. The Jets will be 9-8, and I think the New England's going to be 6-11.
Interesting. Okay, so I'll give you mine, and then we'll kind of elaborate on each team and why we think that way. So. I'm with you. I got Miami winning the division at 10-7, and then things, I guess, take a turn where I have the Jets finishing second at 9-8, the Buffalo finishing third at 8-9, and New England rounding out the basement at 2-15.
Wow!
So,
whoa.
Yeah, definitely some big disparity in those win-loss totals.
Well, I mean, you have the New England dropping off the face of the planet with that win-loss total. But
sure, yeah, let's talk about New England. Well, I mean, I think they announced that Jacoby Brissett's going to be the starter. So
yep.
I guess they're going to delay the Drake May until a little bit later in the season. I think it's safe to say we will expect to see him at some point in this season. New England is not that good a roster. They had a terrible year last year. They're still, they're still weak at several key positions, and maybe another bottom feeder type season, and try to load up at the draft. Before they start to see improvement. So I think another basement type season they're in store for. And first year coach as well. This is the post Bill Belichick era. Although, last couple of years has been very difficult. But so, there's, I don't know, that the outlook doesn't look good for me for this season for New England. I think they start to see some positivity next year after a good draft.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with Bill Belichick gone, I think it's actually addition by subtraction. I did say he's a key loss for this team is Bill Belichick, but I think at some point the message goes stale. And he's had a great run in New England. But, over the last few years with Tom Brady leaving and stuff like that, you knew that the writing was on the wall for him and the team. Um, Everybody rated Drake May the third best quarterback in the draft. I didn't. I don't think he's as good as Williams or Davis. Down in Washington, but I also thought that JJ McCarthy in Michigan is actually better than him too. He just didn't have to do as much. So, but I'm not going to say he's going to struggle in the NFL. I think he's going to be a good quarterback in the NFL, right? I think last year was like the '83 draft, right? The '83 draft of the NFL was really good, and I think last year is like one of those kind of drafts. You have a lot of good quarterbacks, and they're going to surprise a few of them. But in looking at that, I think New England is not going to be as bad, and I think it plays out to some of the games that they're going to play. They seem to have a little bit of Buffalo's number at times and stuff. I think they can probably catch a few wins in this division, and then I think they'll catch a few more wins. I'm not going to think. I think a good season for New England is going to be 500 record. Like close to 500, 8 and 9. Right?
Well, I just think they're gonna just get off to a horrible start, and it's gonna kind of snowball. Well, let's look at their first 8 games. I'm gonna give them to you. They open on the road at Cincinnati, right? Like where there's a lot of optimism around a healthy Joe Burrow and Cincinnati. They play at home to Seattle. Okay, that one's debatable. They go on the road to play the Jets in New York. Then they go into San Fran, week 4. Okay, week 5 they host Miami. Week 6 they host Houston. Week 7 they go on the road to Jacksonville, and week 8 they come home to play the Jets again. So that's the first 8 weeks. So I'm just thinking they're just gonna. How many of those games are they gonna win? There's maybe. You can debate that Seattle is possibly winnable. You could talk yourself into Seattle, but you can almost not talk yourself into anything else.
Yeah, I think we'll get to the next team which is the Jets. I think they're a team that is a bit of a wild card in this whole thing. I mean, you have them finishing second. I think the key to them is Aaron Rodgers and can he stay healthy? He's 41 years old now, right? It's going to be tough for him. Like he played 4 snaps last year.
Yeah,
and then ripped his Achilles. He's still playing on artificial turf. It's not natural grass. MetLife isn't natural grass. It's artificial turf still. So it's better turf than it was 25 years ago, but it's still turf, right? And Rodgers didn't have a great year at the last year in New England. Is he Brett Favre in terms of the name doesn't correspond with the play, or is he still good enough to get things done? And don't get me wrong, the Jets have a very good defense, so they're going to be in a lot of games because their defense will bring them in games like they were last year. If they get decent quarterback play, you're 100% right. They can surprise and be right in the mix. My opinion is that the 2 best teams in this division are Buffalo and Miami, right? Those are the 2 teams that are. I think they're head and shoulders above everybody else.
Well, let me give you something to chew on, right? The Jets, and you mentioned it, right? Their defense is really good. Like their defense is on the elite level. And if they can convince Hassan Reddick to stay and suit up, I mean, their defense gets even that better. So last year, as we all know, Aaron Rodgers, 4 snaps into the season, and he's gone for the year. And you had a combination of Zach Wilson, who just got ran out of town, and Mike White, and they went 7-10 last year. So, having them go 9-8, I think that's not far off from last year. And last year was a catastrophe struck. So that's what I'm kind of basing it on.
No, I'm not gonna. Like I said, the Jets are the most wild card team in this division.
Yeah.
Because if Aaron Rodgers is as good as, and I don't think he has to be prime Aaron Rodgers. I think he's just got to be mid-30s Aaron Rodgers. If he's as good as that, then all bets are off. They could easily win the division because of their defense. But I just don't have the faith and confidence in Aaron Rodgers to be that long. Tyrod Taylor is a good backup, but the offense is still going to struggle with him as the starting quarterback. Like if he's the starting quarterback. So
yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah, I mean you do have Bryce Hall. They added Mike Williams, wide receiver, so that he's a reputable receiver, although getting up there in age. You still have Garrett, right? The other
Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson is a fantastic receiver. He's one of the best receivers in the NFL.
Like those are three players that are pretty good weapons.
Yeah.
For
and don't get me wrong. Jordan Travis, he's on the injured list now, but if he can play, he's a very good quarterback. He's out of Florida State. Like he fell in the draft because he got injured, but he's a really good quarterback out of Florida State. So there is some talent at the quarterback position. They could have drafted for the future as well with Jordan Travis, but that's going to be the challenge, right? I guess they're such a. I don't think they'll drop off and be as bad as New England. I think they're better than New England altogether. It's a matter of can they compete with the top teams. Don't get me wrong. Miami they have their challenges as defense too. So, let's talk about the two. I think the two best teams in the division, which is Buffalo and Miami, right? I just think Miami has so much weapons offensively, and they're going to outscore teams, but they have a good enough defense. Their defense was middle of the pack last year. They're probably going to be a little bit better this year. They've made a few changes and stuff like that. I don't think they're going to drop. They won't be like a bottom of the league in terms of defense. They'll still probably be middle of the pack, maybe into the top 10. So they're going to be a solid team, and they're going to be able to score points. For Miami, as we talked about with the Jets, it's can Tua stay healthy too? Like he was pretty healthy last year, fairly healthy last year. So if he can stay healthy, they're going to have deep threats. Jalen Waddle is an incredible player out there, along with Tyreek Hill, and Tyreek scares everybody in the NFL, right? I think the reason why I picked Buffalo to take a step back this year is simple, and I don't think people are giving enough credit to the guy. That's Stephon Diggs' departure. As much as people want to think, oh, well, they still got Josh Allen, that's great, and they got Kincaid and stuff like that, right? And they brought in a guy who's going to be really good by the end of the season and maybe early next season in Keon Coleman. The biggest Buffalo is teams have to game plan of how they're going to cover and stop Stephon Diggs. That opened up a lot of the offense for their teams. The other thing with Buffalo is without Diggs now, Josh Allen, he's been prone to interceptions before. He's been prone to turnovers. So that safety net of Stephon Diggs no longer exists. How much turnovers that takes place? Having said that, they got a new OC in Joe Brady. He's going to be better than Ken Dorsey, who was really never called a football game as an OC until last year. So that's going to help them. But I think the loss of Diggs, Miami's gotten a little bit better. Keep an eye on Chop Robinson for Miami. He's a really good outside linebacker, defensive end player. He's really good. So I think Miami, their defense has gotten a little bit better. Their offense is going to be better. They added Odell Beckham. He's another guy who's, if he's still as good as he was, going to help them, right? And that's why I think Buffalo's going to take a step back. But I think, I think there's 4 teams in the AFC that can win and go to the Super Bowl. And those 4 teams, we're gonna talk about them coming up in the other divisions.
Mm-hmm.
But Kansas City, Miami, Buffalo, and Baltimore. Those are the 4 teams that are head and shoulders above everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
give me your thoughts on that one.
I agree that losing Diggs hurts them, but I'm also under the opinion that Diggs had become a bit of a distraction there, and I think there might be some relief that he's gone. So it might be a weight lifted from his shoulders, but obviously you're better with Stephon Diggs in your lineup, because the alternatives aren't as strong. So they look like they got like a tight end heavy. There's no wide receiver at the level that Diggs was. So if Josh Allen's is gonna cowboy it all the time, I mean, he's gonna continue to turn it over as he had last year. Lots of turnovers, and I just think they just have a tougher schedule than Miami as well. Yeah. And all those things about Miami, their offense, but they need to protect Tua on offense. So I'm not sure how strong their offensive line is going to be. I think that's the key. If Tua has enough time to get it to his weapons. So that's the only question for me. Yeah, their defense is middle of the pack, but just based on, especially Miami will probably be good in the first half of the season. They'll be stronger just because, Miami's a tough place to play actually in the fall when season first starts, because it's so hot and humid. It's almost tropical. That kind of climate is the other teams are not used. They're at a disadvantage. So that's Miami's advantage. Miami's home field advantage really shows in the first half, and I think that they might be able to go on a little run to start the year. If I look at the schedules, Buffalo starts off at home against Arizona, so they're looking to get off on the right foot, and then Buffalo and Miami play in week 2 already, and it's in Miami.
Yeah, that helps Miami.
Yeah. And then I think Buffalo, they drew some tough out-of-division opponents, right? So in their division, Miami and New York Jets those will be tough matchups. Like the 3 of those teams, Buffalo, Miami, and the Jets against each other. They'll be pretty tough matchups. But they play Baltimore. They're on the road, and they play Baltimore on the road. They play Houston on the road. They play at home to KC. They play at home to San Francisco. They go on the road to LA Rams. They're on the road at Detroit. So that's basically their best opponents outside of their division this year. So that's some of those will be very tough games to win.
No doubt, and you're 100% right. I mean, they're going to play some tough teams. There's no doubt about it. Right. And the schedule is impacted by how you finished last year, right? Right. That's part of the schedule.
True. Yeah, and Buffalo was the division winner last year.
Yeah. So I think we're in agreement that Miami's going to win the division. Who finishes second and third? That's where the cloudy comes in. Yeah. And I'll say keep an eye on Keon Coleman. He's a big, strong. He's got some speed, but he's a big, strong receiver.
So we both have Miami. Yeah, we both have Miami winning the division.
Yep.
So they'll be a playoff team. You have any wild cards coming from this division?
I think Buffalo comes from the division. I think Buffalo's they're the for sure wild card team, and the Jets could sneak in as another wild card team. Depends on how the other divisions play out. I think the AFC West is weaker. Kansas City's the best team, and they're gonna have a thing. How that those guys play out, I don't think. I think as much as Denver fans might think, and I don't want to get into the AFC preview a little bit, but getting rid of Russell Wilson, that's going to improve their team. I don't think entirely that's true, but but I think Buffalo's a definite wild card. The Jets have a chance to be a wild card team.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think for the Jets, anything less than the playoffs is going to be a disappointing season for them.
Okay, so you think Jets? You think which coach is on the hot seat or with the most pressure? It's Robert Saleh then.
Yeah, definitely, he's the guy with the most pressure, right? Right. I think the other two coaches, they've established themselves. They can get away with having a down season. They won't. But Robert Saleh, the expectation, they put a lot of money into it. They went after Aaron Rodgers last year. I think the reason why he's back is because Aaron Rodgers got injured. And I think this year, if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, the expectation is to make the playoffs. And if they don't, he's done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nick could go. I think he's the most at risk here. So, okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, no, that's interesting. Yeah, look, we started off with a bang with the AFC East. So, yeah, that wraps up that division.